Today we're going to be taking a look at the life principles of truth, trust, and learning and how they can impact your life. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Over the last few weeks, I've shared with you some of my very intimate and personal details of my life principles that I developed in my late 20s, that as I wrestled with the whole issue around how do you tackle the different challenges that life will actually send your way. And I must admit, it was a time of real searching on my part where I was trying to think, okay, so how do I tackle this issue? How do I tackle that issue? There's got to be some sort of way and structure I could build that's going to help me really move forward in life and take away, dare I say, a lot of the stresses of life. And and slowly but surely, as I read book after book after book, and I began to really think about what these different authors were saying and that sort of stuff, I developed these principles I've shared with you already, which is truth, trust, and learning. And truth, trust, and learning became the foundation stone for my own life. And it became fantastic. In fact, I've sat down with different people at different times, and they've shared me about the various anxieties they have and the stresses they have and everything. And I then shared them about my principles. And they said, life principles? And I said, yeah, that's one of the things I find is very important is life principles. And what I discovered in that process is that most people don't really think in terms of life principles. They think in terms of what will I do today or this month or this week. They think of the here and now. They don't think about the longevity of life. What can I put in place for my life which is going to take me forward in a positive manner? Yeah, so I've sat down with these different individuals at different times, and I share with them my life principles of truth, trust, and learning. And it was like a light bulb went off in their head. And it was great to watch. And they said, oh my goodness, you mean if I apply this principle, then this will happen? I said, yeah, that's a principle. This will help me move forward and make decisions about different problems. And I said, yes, it will help. It's not the panacea for everything, and everyone I find has their own sets of principles. Mine happen to be truth, trust, and learning. But the thing that I have found is that many people, they have sets of principles they operate their life by, but they're ones they really haven't thought about. What I mean by that is that they've just happened. They haven't really thought about, why do I make decisions the way I do? Why is it that I behave the way I do? What is it that allows me to move forward and become a better person? So truth, trust, and learning was for me. And I remember actually developing this sort of the triangle I've shared with you. And I began to look at this, and over the following years, because it's taken years, as over the following years, I began to look at the relationships between truth, trust, and learning. And that's what I'd like to share with you right now. So if we take a look at, say, truth and trust, what are they the foundation stone for? They're the foundation stone for strong relationships. So if you're sitting in your life there and you're going, oh my gosh, my marriage is a mess, my children, I don't have a relationship with my kids, I have an issue with a particular friend, or whatever it is that you're struggling with at a relationship level, ask yourself the question, are you being transparent and truthful to that person? I mean, to the nth degree. So it maybe even if you're wanting to transform the relationship that's suffering at this time, you can look at it and go, all right, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to be truthful and open and transparent, no matter what, about everything. Remember in the previous video, I talked about that truth needs to be combined with love. All right, so being truthful doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the right thing. It's being truthful combined with love. So what it means is being transparent in yourself, because you can't change someone else. You only change you. So being truthful in your relationship And then trust, which is be committed to them, be trustworthy, be a trustworthy person. So when you say you'll be somewhere, make sure you're really going to be there. When you say you will do something, even if it's as stupid as, yeah, I'll do the dishes before I go to bed, and then you get late at night and I can't be bothered, then say, no, I'm going to be trustworthy. I'm going to do those dishes. Or whatever it is. When you say to your kids you're going to do something, then go and do it. Be known as when you do blow it, as the exception, not the rule. So if you really want to build strong relationships, I'm talking about relationships will stand the test of time. Those relationships which will take with you for the whole of your life. And I must admit, like I've shared with this very openly a number of times, different videos, I have the closest thing, if you ask me, to heaven on earth with the marriage with my wife. And some people say, well, how did you have that? Initially, it wasn't like that. Every marriage, there's a lot of sorting out to be done, and how do you live together and all that sort of stuff. And it's really difficult. But we made a decision, both Rose and I, that we're going to be open and truthful, and we are committed for the long term. And that has built such a strong relationship. And the thing I discovered, I remember when I was just going out with Rosalind, and I thought, oh my gosh, how could I possibly love this person any more than her? And there's like this much love, and it's like, oh, this amazing, amazing girl. Then we got engaged. Ah, oh, boy, my love is so much more. Then we got married. What I didn't realize is that love has no depth. And now we've been married, was that 33 years. And I suddenly realized the depth of love just grows and grows and grows, because it's on that foundation of truth and trust. Truth and trust. Okay, so let's take a look at the triangle a bit further. If you want to have truth and learning on that sort of axis there, truth and learning. Truth and learning gives you enlightenment. If you're a true seeker after the truth, because you want to learn, it means you're not scared of the answer you may hear. And that can be quite intimidating. So that if, let's imagine you're looking at the numbers in your business, then you're not scared of seeing something bad is happening or something like that. You want to dig into it so you can solve the problem. So, or let's imagine there was a whole lot of issues in interpersonal relationship in your friendship circle. You're not afraid of having the spotlight on yourself, because it gives you an opportunity to learn. You want to be enlightened. You want to be a seeker of the truth, because you want to be set free. You don't want to be bound by a whole lot of lies, spoken or otherwise. You want to be set free so you can you can just that sense of freedom, that sense of being released, that sense of not having to worry. I remember a few years ago now, there's a whole lot of accusations in a particular situation were brought against me, yeah, and about this situation. And so I went digging in for the truth. I wanted to get the truth. So I got all the different facts together and all that sort of stuff, and I put them all together for this particular group of people. And I said, here is the truth. We need to be seekers of the truth. And so I put it all together, and I made a fatal mistake. And the fatal mistake was this: not everyone is a seeker of the truth. And when they're not seekers of the truth, then it can be quite confrontational. And I've learned since that time that I need to temper things. So you can be a seeker of the truth, but you may have to temper stuff. Yeah, so be a seeker of the truth, and to learn to share that in love, and say, hey, I want to get to the truth, because there's no point in believing a lie. And one of the things I found is too many people do that. They willingly embrace lies. Why? Because lies tend to be easier to believe. Yeah, it can be even as silly as, you know you're overweight, but you're going to believe the fact that you're not underweight. Or you're underweight and you're going to believe the fact you're not going to believe that you need to put on some weight. or you don't exercise, or whatever the reason why is. You're believing some lie that, yeah, you're okay. You're okay. Yeah, so learning is all about continuous enlightenment with the truth, seeking the truth, not being afraid of the truth, look in the mirror at yourself and sort of say, how can I go improve? All right, so that's truth and learning. Now let's take a look at trust and learning. Trust and learning involves other people. When you're a trustworthy person and you're constantly wanting to learn, and the group of people around you know that you're not afraid to learn. They've learnt that about you. They've learnt that, you know what, they can say things to you and you'll take them on board and process them and all that sort of stuff, and then act on them or not and that sort of thing. Then when you have that sort of reputation, you get what's called empowerment. True empowerment. The empowerment of a team is when you have trust in action with learning. When you have those two things in action, then the teams of people can rely upon each other and they can move forward and they can be learning and progressing. And it's amazing what a team can do. There's been like many movies showing what incredible teams can be. Everything like from like even Apollo 13, the movie with Tom Hanks and so forth. There was teams of people working on distinct problems. And it's incredible what can happen with that sense of relying upon the other person. Yeah, so when you look at your own workplace, ask yourself the question, do you have a real team where people trusting each other in circumstances, and you're questing for learning because you want to improve. You want to improve your product. You want to improve their service. You want to improve whatever it is you're working on. You're looking for learning. And that is an amazing feeling, to be empowered. And it's funny when you talk to different people and you say to them, what were some of the most incredible experiences in your life? And they'll quite often talk about the group of people that came together. It could be like in the army or something like that, and they may be in a combat situation, and they say that those people are really special to them because they could trust them, they could rely upon for their life in that circumstance. I remember many years ago, I was working a particular position, and the team was all fractured all over the place. And in the end, I began to bring the team together, and by showing trust towards the different members, by showing them, sharing with them truth in many instances of private sort of setting, things like that, and we openly shared. And we got all the different muck out and we replaced it with that sense of trust and learning and also a good dose of truth. What ended up happening was that team became memorable. As people, even to this day, I bump into those same people and they say to me, you know, that was one of the highlights of my life during that time. And it's very special when that occurs. But it doesn't occur just by happenstance. It occurs because you deliberately do something. You make a decision that you're going to make a difference. And the first way you make a difference is by changing yourself and changing your view of others. And I quite often ask the question of myself when I encounter someone, I say, why am I speaking to this person? Why are they sharing something with me? And how am I going to learn from that? And it's a different attitude of every person is significant that you encounter in your life. Every person you encounter, you can learn from. Every person you can appreciate and share back a little bit of love. And every person is special. And when you take that attitude of every person is special, then you can really learn from anyone that meets. They don't have to be wildly successful in their own life or anything like that. They can be special just because who they are. So truth, trust, and learning, better, stronger relationships, enlightenment, and we've got empowerment. Incredible principles that have impacted my life enormously and continue to do so. Our principles, that all the principles there are? No, there's a lot more. In fact, in the following videos, I want to unpack some more things around this. Over the years, I've developed a whole series of thoughts around truth, trust, and learning, and what else can actually combine into it. But anyway, I hope you have a great day today. Thank you.